and welcome back to Explore with NTV. I'm Nadira and I hope that you're all well and are ready to explore a new educational topic. And so Tusby will be explaining what today's topic is about.
Hello friends, and I'm going to be explaining what today's topic is about. Today's topic is called education and we're going to be talking about schools.
And actually today's episode is extra special because in the third segment we have Fatiha Aayat, who will be interviewing, and we will be getting to know her. She is such an inspirational, extremely intelligent person, and I'm very excited to be interviewing her in the third segment, so stay tuned for that. And so I see we have Flora with us as well. Hi Flora.
Hi everyone.
How are you, Flora?
I'm great.
So Flora, are you excited to learn about schools and the education system?
Yes.
And would you want to learn after school, or do you think that's good?
I think it's good because then you know and remember everything that you did in school.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite subject, Flora? My favorite subject is PE.
Oh.
And who do you go to get help from? I will go and see your videos.
Aw.
So I can learn from them in a fun way.
Oh, that's sweet, Flora. Thank you so much, Flora, for your answers. I really, really appreciated that. Bye, Flora.
Bye.
And so, Tusby, let's talk a little bit about us two. What's your favorite subject at school?
My favorite subject is maths.
Oh. Why do you like maths?
I like maths because it's to do with numbers and I really like numbers, especially adding numbers and learning more about them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really good.
So, what about you, Nadira?
I would say actually in primary school, just like you, I loved maths so much. It was my favorite subject. And then when I went to secondary school, obviously from primary school, secondary school and college, you can more specialize on the subjects that you like. And you're also introduced to new things. So in secondary school, I really loved learning Spanish, product design and media. And then I would say my favorite subject in college was also media, and that resulted in me taking digital culture for my degree. So I'd say those are my favorite subjects throughout my education experience. And so, what's one of your favorite things about school?
One of my favorite things about school is that you can raise some money for charity.
Oh yeah.
And learn things. So, how about you, Nadira?
It's actually funny that you mentioned raising things for charity, because I remember a lot of the times where, you know, in school, especially because in primary school and secondary school, you're meant to wear school uniform, and so then on those particular charity days, or they would be like non-school uniform days, and I'd get so happy that, you know, I could wear my own clothing there. I would say one of my favorite things about school was definitely learning. I was a massive nerd in my school. I always enjoyed being like the teacher's pet and learning and being sat in front of the classroom and raising my hand for all the questions. I really enjoyed that aspect of school. And do you have a fun memory that you remember from school?
Yes, so one time in science we were like learning about plants and I think it was something to do with celery.
Oh.
We like made celery sandwiches.
Or did you eat them afterwards?
Yeah, like not celery sandwich, crackers with butter.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yeah. So, what's your opinion, Nadira?
I would say one of the things that I most remember from school is definitely in primary school. I actually have something here to show. It is this DVD. And I remember or at least in my primary school, at the end of year 6, because that's the last year that you're in primary school, we would do like a massive year 6 show after doing our SATs. And so the show that I did was Beauty and the Beast. And I remember, because I was a bit shy, like singing and dancing wasn't really my thing. And so instead of being like a main character, I was actually one of the wolves that like attack the beast in one of the scenes of the film, and so I was playing a wolf and I found that really funny. I definitely remember you know, rehearsing for that, and I think that it was so much fun. And I would say one thing that I really loved in secondary school was definitely doing my media coursework, And so actually I have this little thing. It's like a tiny trophy, and it's of a man, and it was given to me because I got full marks on my GCSE music video. And so I really remember this, and I admire it a lot. It makes me remember all the hard work that I did for my coursework that year. Yeah, I definitely think as you grow older, you'll collect more fun things about your school that you will really want to remember and hold on to. And so, other than that, do you remember, like, how do you get support from your family, and who do you go to get support if you don't understand something in school?
Well, I go to my parents, so like if I have homework and I'm stuck on a question, I go to them. So, what are your thoughts, Nadira?
I would say I definitely do the same thing, especially when I was younger. I would go to like my siblings or my parents to help me out with homework. But I feel like as you grow older, there's certain maybe subjects that your family might not know about, or maybe they didn't learn. And so I think a really important thing to remember is to always go to your teachers for advice. And if there's anyone else in that particular department or any other teacher that you feel more comfortable with, is definitely someone that you should go to, because they are professionals, you know, they know the most about that subject. And so it's good for you to go to them, to your teachers, and so, you know, you can gain as much support from them.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to your teachers for help as well?
Yeah, I do, but mostly when I'm in school, I do that.
And so what other activities outside of school do you like doing?
I do chess, swimming, and karate.
Wow.
And also I learn Arabic for my religion. And I do piano in school.
Wow, you do a lot, Tasbih.
Yeah.
You learn so many things outside of school.
Yeah. And also ballet.
Wow, you have a very wide range of activities that you do.
Yeah, I used to do ballet, but I finished it. So, and yourself, Nadira?
I would say I remember a lot of the times before school, I would go to like this like craft club, and that actually inspired me to love like doing artsy things at home. And so I have this big box of art supplies that I use at home to like either create lots of different things for like my family, or just to draw things or paint things. I really like being creative in my free time. I would say another thing that I also really love doing is, or at least I recently started doing this, is to run and cycle more often. I think it's important to keep fit and healthy. Just like Flora, she loves doing PE. It's important for us to remember that, you know, we need to learn how to keep fit and stay healthy, because that's as important, you know, as, you know, you're learning. So you need to find a good balance to have healthy lifestyles and, you know, exercise into your routine as well. And so let's move on to some of the more informative aspects of this topic. And so do you know exactly why schools and education is important?
Schools and education are important so you can learn things and like develop new things. And a school, I think if you go to school, then you can learn how to use like teamwork and things.
Yeah, I definitely think that schools are a very good source of, you know, learning new skills and meeting people. Just like teamwork, you said, that's a really important skill in the future.
Yes. Who are some inventors who made schools?
So actually there's been multiple parts of history where there have been developments in the school system. I would say the first one would probably be not necessarily an exact inventor, but it was definitely a practice that people had. And the fact was that in Egypt especially, there were pharaohs, and these kings wanted to be very powerful. And they knew actually that learning things would make them very intelligent and be therefore a better leader. And so in Egypt, people would learn lots of new things, especially the kings, the more wealthier people in society. They would always learn to continue being as powerful and as good as possible. I would say in Britain in particular, St. Augustus in the year 797 in AD as well. That was quite a long time ago. Actually, the first ever schools were designed to teach religion. And so religion was a very important part, and that actually allowed people to go into a particular environment with other students there, and there would be a teacher, so the priest, that would teach them all about the religion. And I guess as time passed, when we fast forward to like the Industrial Revolution, for instance, that time period was when people decided that, you know, on a national scale, people do need to learn new things so that they can be employees in the future. And that meant that from, you know, only being about religion and teaching religion, it then became we need to teach the whole country about lots of different subjects in order for them to prosper in, you know, in the workforce.
Yes.
And so how have the age range of schools changed over time? What's the compulsory age for schools in the UK?
Well, the age is 18, so you stop going to school at the age. And in the past, the compulsory was weaker, and now in the present, the compulsory is more stronger.
Yeah, and I feel like that's partially because of the fact that, you know, as society advances, we learn new things. It's important for the baseline education to be risen, and so that actually is the reason why the age range in the UK has become higher, and that, you know, now it's 18 because of the fact that we expect people to know more as the basics, just so that they can thrive in, you know, society afterwards.
Yes. So why do the systems of schools be that way they are now?
Oh, okay. So the reason why the schools are designed the way that they are, or the school system, is because, again, similarly to how I said that the origin was from the Industrial Revolution, actually this idea of having like a scheduled day, you know, we always have timetables, right, at school.
Yeah.
And that was designed so that people similarly can emulate that in the workforce. You know, in the Industrial Revolution, you had a kind of like a very strict 9-to-5 type of work for the workers there. And so if you were learning in that particular environment in a very similar way, then that would prepare you for the future. But obviously now, you know, the way people work is much more different, and so in that sense, maybe perhaps people would argue that the school system is designed and is quite outdated.
Yeah. So,
and other than that, what is exactly the difference between learning and education?
Well, learning isn't so formal and you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Education is academic and you have to do it at a certain place like school.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like you do exams and stuff, but with learning you can learn anything. It depends on what you want. And so that is all that we have for this first segment. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot about school systems and why education is important. So we'll see you after the break. Bye.
Bye. Hello friends, and welcome back after the break. In this segment we normally read books, but before that we have something to show you.
Yeah, we have something that is actually mine. So these two things are something that I had from my primary school. So firstly, this is a yearbook, and it has all of my little memories from primary school, including things like Red Nose Day, things like when I went out to trips and things. And I think that it's really nice to look back at your secondary school and primary school experiences by having like little books. Another thing that I have here is an autograph book, and so my teachers wrote really nice messages to me and were giving me good luck for when I went to secondary school. So I do really like looking back at this, and I feel like everybody should try and preserve some of the memories that they've had from their school. I think it is really inspiring to look at afterwards when you've grown up.
Yes.
And so what book would you like to read, Tasbih?
I'd like to read this book.
Oh, what's it called?
It's called Discovery and Encyclopedia of the Natural World.
Wow.
But I'm just going to be reading a little bit of it.
Okay.
So, people and our planet. As the number of people on the earth has grown, so has the need for vast amounts of fuel, food, and natural resources. Finding and using these things can cause damage to the environment, threatening other life forms and even people themselves. So, fuel. Fuel is needed to power vehicles and factories and to heat homes. Most fuels come from the remains of dead plants trapped millions of years ago in rocks. These are fossil fuels and include coal, oil, and gas, cars, buses, and trains. And gas is piped to homes for cooking and heating.
Wow, that was very informative
and interesting.
Yeah.
So, what book would you like to read, Nadira?
I would actually like to read a very similar thing. It's an encyclopedia. So it's funny that both of us chose encyclopedia books to read because they're very informative and have so much information. They're very good sources of learning. And so let's have a read, shall we? So I chose the book or the section about schools and how they differ in multiple different countries. So let's have a read. Going to school. Children go to school to learn the things they need to do when they grow up. Only about half the children in the world can actually have the privilege of saying that they go to school. Skills to survive. In poorer countries, many children do not have the time to go to school. They work instead to help their families survive. They don't learn things like reading or writing, but instead are taught other skills that they need, such as farming. And so you can see here, there is a picture of a girl, and it says a young girl on the left is helping them to prepare a plum fruit for her family to eat. And she is from a Capelli tribe in Liberia, Africa. Kinds of schools. Schools are ways of learning and can be very different around the world. Some schools do not have walls, chairs, or even books. So that's very interesting, isn't it? Like there's so many different types of schools all around the world. These children in the mountain village in Nepal sit outside on the ground to learn. And this Australian boy lives far away from school, so he learns from home using the internet. So that's very similar to what we have done during lockdown and COVID. Yeah. And you can see here in the next picture that these are children from the US who work in classrooms using their desks. So, what can you learn? All schools teach basic skills such as reading, writing, and using numbers. Then Hope sat down and rested in the balloon, looking into the field, wondering what might change her life and all these things that have gone wrong. All the chips, all the cameras, everything. Even Hope could tell it was still a sinister at the moment. It was easier to tell because of the sky and the smell of the hard workers controlled by the chief farmer as they went above the farm into this, and the secret of it all is that no one knew apart from them. Hope had always been a person who thought about the outside world and wanted to bring peace into the city and the future. "Hey, look, the sunflowers are bending to the city," said Hope. "Yes, they do. Looks like the sky is getting pale and I think it's going to get stormy," said Gabriel. "Okay, but I don't think it's safe. It might get stormy. Because of this, if we get hit by lightning, our hot air balloon might crash. I think it's best if we go and get out and find a place to start walking back to the city," said Hope. "Fine, we will have it your way," said Gabriel. But as the two of them were about to get down, the wind was getting horrible and the lightning was so strong. The hot air balloon tumbled out of the sky with Hope and Gabriel in it, going down with a crash. Hope woke. She was so tired because of the hot air balloon falling. She got up and saw the gloomy sky and bright green grass turned into a horrible, nasty, scary place that she was in. Then she tried looking for the hot air balloon, thinking Gabriel would be there. "Wow," said Hope in fear. She looked around and saw the hot air balloon torn and ripped, and saw disgusting rubber bits all over the floor. She went around looking for Gabriel and saw him at the distance, and found him on the muddy ground. She waited until he got up. It only took 10 minutes until he wasn't unconscious anymore. Hey, should we walk it to the city now? Because our balloon is, well, it got torn up, I think, and we should take some rest and then walk to the city, said Hope. All right, said Gabriel. As they walked and walked, soon both of them started to get tired. In the distance, Hope saw an outside inn and said, I think we should head over in that direction because I thought I saw some shelter there. Come with me. Where? I can't see it, said Gabriel. Over there, said Hope, then showed him by looking at the direction that it was in. So they went, and when they got there, they saw a wooden outside inn, covered in mud and grass. You could tell that it hadn't been used for years. They went in and sat for some rest because it was raining. They saw a window which was covered in moss, and Hope and Gabriel looked through the window, seeing misty fog outside in the pouring rain. I think we will stop the leader. I know we will, said Hope happily. Gabriel thought that the same and smiled. They then looked into the city from the outside in, and as the rain dropped down on them. And so that's a little section of the book that we created in primary school. Keep in mind I was in year 6, so I was 11 years old when I wrote that, and the whole class wrote that together, and then the teacher wrote the epilogue of that story. Yeah, so it was very interesting. Actually, if you look at the cover, you can see a picture of an eye, and every single person in my class had to draw a picture, and so that was how we created that book.
Oh, wow. So, this is the end of this segment. So, see you after the break. Bye.
Bye. Hi everyone, and welcome back from the break. And so in this guest segment we have an amazing guest with us, and her name is Fatiha. So hi.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Okay, and we would love to get to know you much better because we're really excited to get to know you.
It's my honor to come. Thank you.
So firstly, how old are you?
I'm 9 years old, and inshallah this October I will turn 10.
Oh wow, that means you're actually our youngest guest ever to be appearing on the show, and we're really happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah. Where do you live and what school do you go to?
I live in Queens in New York, and I go to PS16Q Nancy Independent School. It is a gifted and talented school.
Oh wow, you must work really, really hard in your school. So what are some of your favorite subjects at school?
At school, I have a lot of different subjects that I love, but one of them is math, and another one is reading. I love math, and I love reading tons of books.
Oh.
So the reading and math are two of my favorite subjects.
They're actually some of mine and Tasbi's favorite subjects as well. We love maths and reading lots of books.
Can you describe your family for us?
My family is super supportive, and whatever decision I make, they support me along the way. And of course, if my decision is wrong, they correct me. And also, my family, we distribute the work, like any type of work, let's say household work or outside work, we distribute it between ourselves. Like my parents do some and I do some. And also my family loves traveling. We go to different places. We go to a lot of different states in the United States, as well as other different countries.
Wow, that's so cool. And so, who are some of the people in your life that really inspire you?
Well, of course, my parents always inspire me to really work hard. And also, if you talk about role models, I would say Malala Yousafzai or any other successful person that I can really see what they do, and I can really apply that in my life.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's always important to have, family members that you look up to, as well as, inspirational, famous people that you can replicate and also try and be.
Yes. What are some of your hobbies?
Okay, some of my hobbies, I love drawing. I love art. I love drawing, painting, sketching, any type of art. I love reading, as I said before. I also love making things. Mostly I make things with paper, and maybe sometimes I make things with other household objects that we might not need. But so crafts reading and painting are three of my favorite hobbies.
Oh wow, that's really nice. And so, other than learning, what are some of the things that you are really passionate about?
Okay, other than learning, I love creating YouTube videos. Like I create math videos and science videos, and there are coding videos and many types of other videos. Actually, it's really fun to create these videos because they're setting up the stage and then doing it. And so the process altogether, it is really fun. And I'm really passionate about these things.
Oh wow, it's so amazing how you do all of those things at such a young age. It's really inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite things about school?
Okay, some of my favorite things about school is how they actually teach the subject to us. The teachers teach it in such a way that it's really easy for the kids to really catch it in and to really remember it in their mind. So I love their teaching skills. And also, besides all the other educational subjects that they teach us in school, they also give us many other types of activities to do in school. We have gym, art, music, you name it. There is so much activities. And so besides the learning, these are some of the things that I really love about school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a diverse place, school. You can learn so many new things, not just academic, like how you said, but also, you know, other things like going to the gym and doing art and music.
Yeah, and like physical things.
Yeah. And so if you had to describe or choose 3 words to describe yourself, what would they be?
Okay, I would want to be a generous person, a helpful person, and maybe a smart person.
Yeah, those are key things.
I would hope to also try and be those things as well. I think they're very useful characteristics to try and aim for and implement in your life.
Yes. What motivates you to learn?
Well, as I said before, what motivates me to learn is that I can collect more knowledge. Because if I read books, let's say non-fiction books, I can collect knowledge about those. And I'm actually a really curious person. Whenever I see something that's interesting to me, I try to see more about it. I try to really search up things and then see what it actually is that I am seeing. So I'm a really curious person and I love to gather knowledge.
And I think that's such an important skill for life in general, wanting to learn, having that motivation, because it helps you understand the world that you are in and appreciate the things around you, isn't it? And so we would also love to ask you a few more questions about what you do specifically. And so what types of things do you post on your YouTube channel?
Okay, in my YouTube channel, I post math videos, science videos, coding videos, Quranic videos or Islamic videos. I post Quran tafsirs, and also besides that I do Quran recitations. I post Quran recitations. And then also there's another thing called Fun Learn. So it's not really educational stuff, but then there's some things for fun that I'd like to show in my YouTube channel.
Oh wow, so your YouTube channel is very diverse, has lots of different things that you are passionate about. You create loads of videos about them.
As I said, I'm a very curious person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important to love the things you do and share them. So, what are some of the awards that you have won?
Okay, some awards that I have won is, well, let's say what I did. It's not really an award, but it's a great honor for me to go to the UN and deliver speeches there. I've delivered speeches in the UN, the United Nations, the Harvard University, the Columbia University. These aren't really awards, but these are some recognitions that I really feel proud of, that I would love to, that I have actually done. And also I've won many different awards for math. I went to Math League, Perennial Math, and I've won many different awards there. I've won first place and second place awards. And also I've won art awards. Basically anything related to art. For example, in Advena Art World, they have given me Amazing Artist Award. And also one of my paintings is being presented in the Colors of Humanity Art Gallery.
Oh my gosh, that is so impressive. I think you're so incredible, and I also think it's really nice that you've achieved so much in your life already at such a young age, and yet you're still so humble and so sweet about, you know, all the things that you have done. So I really admire that about you.
I would put one more thing here, that I've already published 3 books, 2 from Amazon and another one. One of them is called Bear with a Bear, another one is called Sisters Reunion, and recently I've published one called Diary of a Muslim Kid.
Wow, you published 3 books. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so, what motivated you to originally start your YouTube channel?
Well, I love sharing things with other people, and so I thought that maybe I could share them in my YouTube channel or my Facebook page. Then I thought that if I share things to different people, then maybe they can also give me some information. So it's like a two-way process. I give them some information and they teach me some information. So that's really what motivated me to really share all this.
Yeah. I agree, because it's like such a community on YouTube, and so you can interact with everyone and gain as much information as possible from them. So yeah, definitely, it creates a good sense of community.
What job would you want in the future?
Well, if you talk about jobs, I'd say that I want any job that can help children all around the world. Like, for example, if I become an engineer, I'd build something. Like, for example, maybe a water circuit that it could collect rainwater and it could purify it, and it could send water to all the children around the world in like remote areas who maybe do not have water or do not get water. But this is just an example. I want to help children all around the world. But now I'm seeing that besides helping children, I really want to become an engineer and build stuff.
Wow, I think that's such a nice goal to have. It's very specific as well. I feel like that really will motivate you to succeed and accomplish your goal. And so, yeah, and so how would you define success, since you're obviously very inspiring to others? So how would you define what you think success is?
Thank you, but I wouldn't say that I'm successful yet, because I'm still in the learning process. I'm just a normal kid, basically. I'm still learning all the things that I really need to know. And you said that how would I define being successful? I would define being successful when I've really achieved my goal, but there isn't actually any boundaries of being successful, because you can just keep on learning things and you can keep on doing things. Let me give you an example. For example, recently now Mars has sent their 5th rover. Now launching the rocket was a success, landing on Mars was a success, and collecting things from Mars would be a success, and if the rover came back to Earth, that would be a success. So there isn't really any boundaries of success. That's what I would say.
Wow, I definitely agree with that. I think success is definitely a process. It's not necessarily a destination. You know, like how you were saying with the Mars example, I think that's a really good way of describing it. Every single stage, every single thing that you do to achieve and grow is being successful.
Yeah, like there's no ending. You can keep on carrying on and making life successful. What is something that you feel really proud of about your work?
Well, as I said before, that I am really proud that I have delivered speeches in the United Nations, the Columbia University, the Harvard University, and many other places, places. And also, I'm really proud about publishing those 3 books. I'm really proud about achieving all my awards that I've won, the math awards, the art awards. Basically, if you talk about it, I'm proud of everything that I've won.
And I'm also very proud of you as well. I think I can speak on all of NTV and say that we are very inspired and proud of you. And so, what are your thoughts on the schooling system, and how would you want schools all around the world to be improved?
Well, the schooling systems now, because of the pandemic, I would say that the teachers and the schools all around the world are working really hard, because it's really hard to maintain kids when you're online. Because if you're physically in school, then there's a way that the teachers can interact with the students and really get them to understand the concept. Now, when you're online, then the teachers can't show you as much things as they want because you're online and you're just on the computer or any device. So I really think it's really hard to maintain kids, and I would say that the teachers and schools are working really hard in this pandemic. Some improvements that I think could be made is that I know that sometimes the schools are giving out devices for the kids, but maybe it's not available all around the world. So I'd say that as much as possible, I would want the schools and the teachers to give the students devices so that they can do school. Because I don't think that students should waste 1 year, because I think it's already been 1 year or more of the pandemic, and I don't think that the students should waste this time. They should really start, learning. So I would say that this may be one improvement. And also, a lot of the time, there's not internet in houses. So I'd say that maybe they could put internet with the devices.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Access to schooling is really important, and that needs to be improved. And so now, we have a very special part of this segment. Do you know what it is, Tasbih?
Yes, it's our quiz.
Yeah, it's our quiz. And so we will be asking you some questions. They're all multiple choice, all about the concept of education and learning.
Okay, so...
And here is the first question. Which of the following English-speaking top universities is the oldest in the world? Is it Oxford, Cambridge, or Harvard?
I think Cambridge.
The correct answer is Oxford, and actually it's the university is considered almost 1,000 years old now. So it was made in the 11th century. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that universities have been around for that long.
So, how old was Malala when she was shot in the head for standing up for education? Option 1, 16. Option 2, 17. Option 3, 18.
Okay, I think it was 16.
Oh, it was 17.
Yeah, but obviously all those answers kind of show that she was so young when she did that. It was such a brave thing for her to do. And actually, because of that, she's the youngest person to have ever won a Nobel Peace Prize. So definitely she's a very inspiring person in terms of education. And so, which of the following people didn't drop out of school? Bill Gates, Richard Branson, or Rupert Murdoch?
I kind of don't really know the answer to this one. So, but could you repeat the answers again?
Oh, so Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and Rupert Murdoch.
I think Bill Gates.
Oh, actually, Bill Gates did drop out of school, funnily enough. And the correct answer who didn't drop out of school is Rupert Murdoch. I find it actually really interesting how all those three people that I've listed, they are billionaires now.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely think that although education is extremely, extremely important, you can still be successful because learning is outside of education. You know, you can constantly learn without going into academia, you know?
So, who said the following famous quote about learning? Leadership and learning are indissociable from one another. Option 1, John F. Kennedy. Option 2, Abraham Lincoln. Option 3, George Washington.
Okay, I think, so the options are John F. Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. Okay, I think Abraham Lincoln.
It's actually John F. Kennedy, but all three of those answers were obviously US presidents, and actually I do believe all three of them did really value education and learning. And so the next question is another quote. It's, who said the following famous quote about teachers? It is the supreme art of a teacher to awaken joy in creation and expression of knowledge. Was it Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, or Neil deGrasse Tyson, sorry.
Well, I don't know, I don't really know, but I think it is Albert Einstein.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's right. He's obviously very inspirational. All three of them are scientists. And that's the end of our quiz. So it was quite a difficult quiz, but I think you did really well. And I hope the audience also learned a lot from it.
I learned a lot from this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Fatiha, for joining us. So, Assalamu alaikum, and we really appreciate you being on our show.
It's my pleasure. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Ask them when is it going to publish.